Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Assassin's Creed. We should be live now. Just get everything set up as is usual. Oh, I forgot to actually let it begin. That might have been a good thing to have ready to go. That's fine. That's okay. It gives us a second for me to log in. We are going to probably pretty quick check out our emails because I'm curious to see if there's anything good in those. I thought I clicked on the game to start, but that's okay. Sound's coming through. And I just gotta do this. Okay, that's good. Live chat's pulled up. Okay, we're good to go. Yeah, let's hop out of the Animus real quick. Just so I can check on the emails, because I'm curious. Then we'll get back to it. I want to make a effort to check the emails when we can. That's not what I wanted to do. Oops. I think I went back in. God damn it. Why does it work with any button? Why couldn't it have been something specific so like me accidentally pushing in the stick doesn't do that? Okay. Let's try that again. Apologies. But I am excited to get back into this. Pretty soon we'll be at a point in the game where we can kind of do anything we want. Let's just see what we got for messages. Okay. We already saw those. That's those. Oh yeah, there's a exclamation mark for the new ones. Okay, Sean is really getting on my nerves. You'd think with everything that's going on, the guy would stop being such a douche. Maybe he thinks it's funny, or maybe it's part of his snarky British charm, or maybe it's how he deals with the stress. Whatever it is, it's getting old real fast. We've got enough to worry about, you know, end of the world and everything. You'd think he'd show a little restraint or maturity or something. Sorry, not like you need to hear me venting. You've got enough on your plate. Please don't say anything to him, though. That was from Rebecca. We got one from William. In case you haven't noticed, we're knee-deep in the shit here. I understand this might not be your idea of a good time. It isn't anyone's idea of a good time. Picking fights isn't going to get our work finished any faster. So I suggest you stick to the mission. The sooner we're through the door, the sooner we can get back to our lives. Or in your case, the lack of one. Dad. He's such a dick. Another one from Sean. William's not the most diplomatic man, I'll give you that. But he cares about you very much. When you were under, during that whole bit with 16, he never left your side. Even slept in the same room while we put down for the night. Anyway, don't mean to be a busybody, just didn't want you to stay sore with him. Not too sore, anyway. The man means well, if he's got an odd way of showing it. I'm sure he does, but he's kind of an a-hole. Another one from Sean. Just a quick heads up that I've pushed in a new batch of entries focused on the Cayenne Kahaka in order to ensure accuracy. I remember we read through all those. I actually turned to a friend on the outside, don't worry. He thinks it's for a presentation, so we're in no danger of being discovered. You'll find a new section under the database labeled, surprise, surprise, Cayenne Kahaka. It has information on their political and social structures as well as some notes about their material culture. Yeah, we checked all that out. Alright, and then another one from Sean about the Piece of Eden. Interesting, the sphere, not a spear. The sphere used by Connor during his spirit journey is clearly first civilization in origin. It appears to function as some sort of temporal calculator. It's essentially a crystal ball, but one that actually works. This can't be coincidental. Which begs the question, are there others out there? And then we get this. Yeah. A lot of weird stuff, but then it says hello at the bottom. Which is interesting. I wonder who that
Sorry,
is.
Desmond, a little busy right now. Let's talk later.
I wasn't trying to talk to you. I want to go back in here now. Alright, let's get back into it. I have a little under 3 hours to play, so let's see how much we get done in that time. We'll keep following the main story for a bit, because we do get to meet a few people. And I want to get a little bit further. I want to, at the very least, bare minimum, be wearing our assassin robes before we start doing some of the side stuff. At least seriously.
Good morning.
To you as well. You taking a trip?
I've decided to do something about the house, and you're going to help me. Get it?
Alright. Let's see what we can do. I do like, as I said last episode, this sort of Native American tribal outfit that he has. It's, you know, it's kind of cool. A little different than what you would normally see in one of these games.
Don't stare.
Sorry.
Come on.
I imagine it's kind of a alien world to him.
This place is incredible. The people, the sounds and smells. I could walk these streets for days and know not even half its wonders.
I thought the same as you upon a time. These days, I much prefer the quiet of the countryside.
But there is so much life here. So many opportunities.
For a few, my boy. For a few.
Yeah, that is fairly true. Hello, dog. Bye, dog. Not everyone is, well, honestly, not very many people at all are considered equal.
There's a store close to here. You're to buy the items on this list. Tell them where the carriage is, and they'll see that it's loaded. Understood?
Yes.
Good. You're also going to need a new name. Your skin is fair enough that you might pass for one with Spanish or Italian blood. Better to be thought a Spaniard than a native. And both are better still than I.
That is not true.
What's true and what is aren't always the same.
What would you call me then?
Kana. Yes, that will be your name.
And you just walked through Achilles.
All right then. Off you go.
And there we go. What's this? We got a new database entry. The Old State House. This building housed the Massachusetts government from 1713 to 1798. Before the Revolution, that would have meant the governor, his advisors, and the elected assembly. Of course, by elected, I mean elected by white male property owners, since they were the only people that had the right to vote. The assembly also had rather limited power. The governor had a veto over anything they decided, and on occasion dissolved the assembly when they didn't vote his way. Less a governor, more a dictator. In 1767, a gallery is installed above the meeting floor so the general public could watch their legislature at work. This was a very novel idea at the time. Of course, some of the representatives probably regretted the decision later, and crowds used the area to heckle those who voted pro-British. Then again, perhaps that was the point all along. The government moved out of the building to a bigger space in 1798, and the old building was turned over to the merchants, including a wine cellar and a wig maker, making it the colonial equivalent of a shopping mall, though one that mainly dealt in wine and wigs. Which is kind of interesting. Ooh, there's a new thing there. A couple things. Okay. We got Davenport Homestead. This lovely little collection of buildings was the headquarters for the original assassin order of the colonies. A modest Masyaf, if you will. Sometime during the 7 Years' War, the Templars made their move and destroyed it during their assassin witch hunt. By which I mean there wasn't a witch hunt. There was a witch hunt for assassins, not that there were assassin witches. Achilles survived the attack and stuck around to keep the manor standing, barely, by the looks of it. Once Connor came along, it flourished again for several decades, even surpassing its former glory. Then it suddenly vanished early in the 19th century. any manner that can suddenly vanish is both interesting and unsettling in the same measure, though probably not a great investment. Alright, then we have an update for Charles Lee. Didn't we read this? Oh yeah, we read that already. Okay. That was, I think, the last thing we did the last time. Yeah, this is the old state house here, it looks like. Alright, let's go get what we need. I do kind of find it funny, though, that we're going to pass as a, what, a Spaniard or Italian, even though we're wearing Native American clothes. Do the shop owners not know what Native American clothes look like? It's just one of those things you gotta wonder, right? Bunch of grapes. This was one of the meeting places of the Sons of Liberty. The attraction to this particular tavern may have been the library, which included many anti-British books. Or it might have been its reputation as the finest punch house in Boston. Or it might even have been its location, which is right down the street from the old State House, where the legislature met and where the Boston Massacre occurred. Or it might have been darts night. While I'd love to use the fact that the Patriots met in taverns to imply all kinds of things about them, I should point out that taverns were places to do business as well as drink, and that alcohol was viewed as, more or less, the cure for all ills. You're waiting for a punchline, but that's actually true. Those are the kind of doctor's orders I crave. I can see that from Sean. Oh, we can actually do some side quests here if we really want to make some extra money.
I grow tired of this. It seems each day...
Ooh, here we go, the Stamp Act. Passed March 22nd, 1765. To my American viewers in the audience, you'll remember this from school, hopefully. The Stamp Act was the British government's attempt to recoup some of the money they spent during the French and Indian War by taxing the American colonists, who theoretically benefited most from it. Parliament chose a stamp tax because it was simple, easily implemented, and the colonists couldn't smuggle their way out of paying it. All papers, from newspapers to legal documents to lawyers' licenses, would need to purchase a government stamp to be used. Colonists, however, didn't think Britain had the right to tax them at all, since there was no colonial representatives in Parliament, hence the snappy revolutionary slogan, "No taxation without representation." They also resented the suggestion that they were responsible for Britain's war debts, since the colonial militia had a huge role in fighting and winning the French and Indian War. Huge public protests were organized, run by groups who called themselves the Sons of Liberty. Merchants declared a boycott of British goods. Perhaps most importantly, the people assigned to collect the tax were threatened and intimidated into resigning. The Massachusetts stamp distributor was even paraded through Boston by the Sons of Liberty and forced to resign at the Liberty Tree. No stamp taxes were ever collected, and the British repealed the Stamp Act in March 1766. But it wasn't an entire victory for the colonies. Parliament then passed something called the Declaratory Act, essentially stating that Britain had the absolute right to tax the colonists, and there wasn't anything the colonists could do about it. Nothing, that is, except start their own country. I've always fancied doing that. Why not, Sean? Why not? It is funny, by the way. Sean's... Oh, there's another one in here. Sean's supposed to be really smart. But it's funny that you'll have errors in these. Like, just spelling errors and stuff. Alright, we got pocket boroughs. One of the issues surrounding the American Revolution was that the colonies had no representatives, and thus no say in British Parliament. To add insult to injury, some parts of the United Kingdom that had no actual residents did have seats in Parliament. This essentially meant landowners could give the cushy government appointments to whomever they wanted. These areas were known as pocket boroughs, because the landowner had them in his pocket. Or rotten boroughs. A fun game is to guess why. One of the worst examples was the borough of Old Sarum, which had no voters and 2 seats in Parliament. However, it wasn't the only one. Pocket boroughs were numerous. As of 1761, not 761, Jesus Christ. It's estimated that 250 of the 558 parliamentary boroughs were under this kind of patronage, and the problem wasn't really corrected until the late 19th century. So when the colonists were complaining that the British government was hopelessly corrupt, they had a point. Now look at it. Today we in the U.S. have gerrymandering. It's kind of the same thing. Well, not quite the same, but you know what I mean. It's in the same idea.
The Indemnity Act. The Commissioners of Customs Act.
Oh, do I grab the paper?
Must have thought himself so clever when he paid the steps to make
There we go, we got it.
that there will be no taxation without
Alright.
representation.
Yeah, we'll do that quest later.
Who
There's a
represents
bunch of
that
stuff around
body?
here we can do
Who
later.
spoke on
I just want to follow this for now.
You lost?
I need the items on this list.
Will you be paying with coin or trade? Some of these things I have, some I don't. Lumber's hard to come by since my supplier up and vanished. I have the tools and pitch, though. Nails, too. So, where do you want this delivered?
Our wagon is near the State House.
Well, at first he seemed like an asshole, but when he saw our money, he was nice at least. Oh, I have to get through this door? Okay.
I should return to Achilles.
everyone who stands in Parliament for Boston, for New York, for Virginia. No one.
Oh, something's happening. Oh, hold on. There's the flag. Oh, there's some flags over there that I've never actually looked at. It's kind of cool. But there's this one. The Don't Tread on Me flag. Sadly co-opted by
Hands to the
idiots these
customs
days.
house to toss some
But
quips
very
at the
cool
lobster.
back in the day.
What happened?
That's what we're
Alright. Loyalists. Loyalists were colonists who sided with the British during the Revolution. They were also known as Tories, Royalists, and King's Men. Probably also by their enemies as those bloody arse-kissing ninny-hammers, among other things. While being a Loyalist might seem to you like the bad guys, that's only because you know the Patriots won. It's very easy to use history to look smart, even if you're subjected to the American education system, and system is a strong word. You know what? I will give Sean that. Our education system is far from good in this country, and it's gonna get worse. In fact, by some estimates, as many as 1 in 5 colonists were actively loyalist, and many more tried not to pick a side altogether. I expect the version of the story you've heard goes something like this. The Loyalists were traitors who betrayed their fellow Americans to the British. That's a nice little fiction, since from a Loyalist perspective, the opposite was true. The colonies were founded and owned by the British. The colonists were therefore British citizens, thus the rebels trying to disobey the king were the real traitors here. Aha, you see? You're a country of traitors. Try spinning that. Okay, Sean, settle down there. I don't care for traitors, you know, we won. You'd also have to be pretty brave to be a loyalist, particularly if the people in your community were patriots. Non-loyalists were frequently dragged from their homes, beaten, burned with candles, or tarred and feathered. That's just in case you suffered from the delusion that the patriots always took the moral high ground. Yeah, that's fair. They weren't always the good guy. And we got the patriots here. Patriots were colonists who united against the British government in the Revolutionary War. Although at the time of the Revolution, patriot was something of a negative term. What we call patriots today were more likely called Whigs, or if you're a loyalist, rebels. The patriot motto was no taxation without representation, a great phrase for rabble-rousing, though a poor choice of catchphrase for, say, a game show host. It's also a phrase that requires a bit of unpacking for a modern audience, by which I mean you, Desmond. The colonists didn't elect representatives to the British legislature. Because of the travel distance between Britain and America and the distinct lack of aeroplanes, it wouldn't have been practical. Instead, patriots wanted to be governed by representatives within the colonies. Of course, they did have legislatures already, but those were rather prone to being shut down by British-appointed governors whenever they didn't behave properly. Read, do exactly what the governor wanted. It's hard to know how many people in the colonies were patriots. The best guess is between 40 and 45% of the population. The rest were either declared loyalists or people who decided to remain tactically neutral. Probably a wise choice given that both sides were known for seizing the property of their enemies. Yeah. I can see not wanting any part.
Follow me.
Let's go see what's going on.
With me to King Street. We'll
This
show
is
'em.
definitely going to be the first of several
Down to the customs
historical
house
events.
for a spree. Come on.
It's one of the things this game does pretty well, actually, is having just a ton of historical events. Though I feel like sometimes I find it a little bit annoying that it's just constant. I don't know. It's cool, though. It's better than some games in the series that don't have any, essentially.
I say again, disperse! Congregating in this manner is forbidden!
We're not going anywhere, Bug.
Oi! Why did you go back to England?
No good can come of this chaos! Return to your homes, and all will be forgiven!
Never!
Not until you've answered for your crimes!
You're right, cowards!
You don't scare us.
Pointing guns at unarmed!
We ain't afraid!
Is that my father?
Yes, which means trouble is sure to follow. I need you to tail his accomplice. This crowd is a powder keg. We can't allow him to light the fuse.
But
But nothing. Do as I say and go.
Come on, you gosh-gutted coward! It doesn't shoot at me!
Hey, Lobster! Go ahead! Fire your little gun!
You red back rum so...
Alright, let's read up on Hatham here quick. Seeing I saw that in there. I can't believe we didn't have one before for him, but that's okay. He was born in 1725. Hatham Kenway is a Templar who came to the American colonies in 1754. From what we've learned, Kenway was sent here by Grandmaster Reginald Birch with a dual mission: establish his own Templar group to rival the colonial assassins and search for clues about artifacts related to the first civilization. And when a Grandmaster tells you to do something, you do it, even if it's just a chess Grandmaster. Kenway didn't find the artifacts he was looking for. He did, however, recruit a small dedicated band of Templars. He also attempted to forge a relationship with the Kenyan Kahaka in the frontier, and one woman in particular, Kenyan Tsio, I believe. The two were briefly lovers, and however brief it was enough because Kenyan Tsio, yeah. I feel like I keep adding an extra N in there. Unbeknownst to Hatham, ended up raising their son, Connor. I'm guessing it was Kenway who became Grandmaster in the colonies, and therefore the man responsible for the 1763 attack on the colonial assassins. That attack wiped out most of the membership and almost all of our records from that era. It's never been clear exactly what happened in that attack, or how Kenway managed to make it such a complete surprise. In any case, I don't think I like this guy. Sorry to use such strong words. It's okay, Sean. I forgive you.
Bacon face south! I just shoot fight you this on you!
Yeah, you should pretty much be able to tell what historical event is being depicted here. Luckily we can use
Boy,
some,
you there! What's all the fuss about?
Fire at the townhouse.
do a little bit of rooftop stalking here. Come on, move. There we go. Nice. Stop to look behind him, though. This guy over there we'll have to watch out for. I'm trying to keep an eye on this guy, though. Come on, pal. Come on. Clearly got places to be. Where are you going? Oh, the ladder. I guarantee he's going to climb the ladder. Let's be sneaky about this. He still doesn't see us. He definitely is going to see us. Turn around. Stop looking at me. If I was that guy, I'd be like, yeah, I definitely just saw somebody. I'm not going to think they're gone. But luckily, it's Assassin's Creed, so I wasn't completely spotted. There we go. Crisis averted.
Your plot is ended.
Not quite.
Of course it was Charles.
Oh, damn you!
Fire
Looks so happy about doing that. Alright, let's get out of here. I don't wanna fight. I wanna go. Thought about it for a second, but I didn't kill him. I'm moving now. Hey, I can't possibly know where I am. Come on. Something else we can read here, but let's just get a move on for the time being. Oh, come on. That guy had to have already known where I was, considering that turn he made. This is ridiculous. Where was I supposed to go? No, someone fast is right behind me, naturally. How's the big guy that fast? Get in that! Okay. I didn't mean to go in here to take it. What button? There we go. Come on, I've escaped. Come on. Really? That optional objective was dumb. All because the game had to have one of these guys walk over to me. Get in here. I got away. Come on.
I need to find Achilles.
That's lame. We almost did that perfectly. Now we're notorious as well. Okay. We did see another thing pop up. It totally ran past a location of some sort. Oh, we got a few things. Okay. So we found the Crown Coffee House. The name of this place is somewhat misleading. It's likely that this coffee house sold more wine than coffee, since coffee was only just becoming popular. I know it's hard to imagine a time when people didn't enjoy their morning cup, but there you are. If we go by the number of bottles they had in stock, this was one of the busiest taverns in Boston, likely because of its location. If you were arriving in Boston by ship in the 1700s, and let's face it, you didn't fly in, this would have been the first tavern you saw, and since taverns were great places to get information, you might well have stopped here for a drink and the latest news. I mean, I don't drink coffee, but fair enough. Alright, the Boston Massacre. On March 5th, 1770. The Boston Massacre was the culmination of several fights between British soldiers and the people of Boston. A group of British soldiers fired into a crowd at point-blank range, killing 5. The reality of it is less damning to the British than it sounds. What started as an argument about a Wigmakers Bill, of all things, turned into a mob. Hundreds of Boston citizens kept 8 British regulars cornered for hours. By the end of it, many were holding clubs, throwing stones, and taunting the soldiers to fire. Captain Thomas Preston was in charge of the regulars and tried to defuse the situation by talking with the crowd. They asked if his soldiers' guns were loaded. He admitted that they were, but it would have been stupid for him to order them to fire, since at the time he was standing in front of them. It wasn't until one of the soldiers was hit by a stone, which forced him to drop his musket, that the regulars fired into the crowd, against the orders of Preston, who later testified he never gave the command to fire. It's possible his men mistook the taunts of the crowd for an order. The regulars were arrested and tried for murder. 6 were acquitted, including Thomas Preston. The other 2 men were found guilty of manslaughter, but had their thumbs branded in lieu of the usual sentence, which was death. One of the interesting things about the massacre is what happened afterward. That is, how both sides tried to spin it to their advantage. The fact that most people call it a massacre should give you some idea of who won this particular PR war. Revolutionaries portrayed it as an attack on colonial liberties, and images of the event, popularized by Paul Revere, showed an organized British force firing into the crowd, not a confused group of soldiers cornered by an angry mob. The British, on the other hand, referred to the event as the incident on King Street. We're naturally calm in a crisis, unlike countries who insist on turning every minor confrontation into a three-ring circus. Anyway, the wig maker dropped his prices and it never happened again. I call it a victory for the bald. And we also have the Boston Massacre, which This one, I believe, is actually just a newspaper for it. Massacre on King Street. Doubtless our readers will all know that on the evening of Monday last, a squadron of soldiers formed before the custom house fired into a crowd of citizens, killing 4 and wounding many. Our readers will expect a circumstantial account of the tragical affair, but we hope they will excuse our being particularly cautious as we should be, had we not seen that the town was intending on inquiry and full representation thereof. However, some few facts appear to be established. Following upon an altercation between some lads of the town and a single posted guard at the custom house, an increasing number of citizens came to that place, and with heat shouted down the guard. In like manner, a large group of citizens gathered in King Street. Captain Thomas Preston perceived from the main guard house his soldier in distress, and left the main guard with a party of men hooch with charged bayonets. The soldiers came, pushing their bayonets, crying, "Make way." They took place by the custom house, and continuing to push to drive the people off, pricked some in several places, on which they were clamorous, and, it is said, threw snowballs and perhaps portions of ice. The crowd taunting the soldiers, shouting, "Fire! You dare not fire!" On this and more snowballs coming, someone cried out, "Damn you, fire!" One soldier then fired, and a townsman with a cudgel struck him over the hands with such force that he dropped his firelock, and, rushing forward, aimed a blow at the captain's head, which grazed his hat and fell pretty heavy upon his arm. However, the soldiers continued to fire successfully till 7 or 8, or as some say, 11 guns were discharged. By this fatal maneuver, 3 men were laid dead on the spot, and 2 more struggling for life. But what showed a degree of cruelty unknown to British troops, at least since the House of Hanover has directed their operation, was an attempt to fire upon or push with their bayonets the persons who undertook to remove the slain and wounded. The dead are Mr. Samuel Gray, killed on the spot, the ball entering his head and beating off a large portion of his skull. A mulatto man named Crispus Attucks, I hope I said that right, who also killed instantly, 2 balls entering his breast, one of them special goring the right lobe of the lungs and great part of the liver most horribly. Mr. James Caldwell, mate of Captain Morton's vessel, in like manner killed by 2 balls entering his back. Mr. Samuel Maverick, a promising youth of 17 years of age, son of the widow Maverick, and an apprentice to Mr. Greenwood, Ivory Turner, a ball through his belly and was cut out at his back. He died the next morning. Mr. Patrick Carr, about 30 years of age, who worked with Mr. Field, leather breeches maker in Queen Street, wounded, a ball entered his hip and went on his side, apprehended he will die. Several others requiring surgery, suffering loss of blood, shattered bones, and lodged musket balls. Governor Hutchinson has exerted himself in an effort to quell the town. He has ordered the arrest of said Captain Preston, as well as soldiers involved, until such time as an investigation and general ordering of the facts can be made. Honestly, a pretty reasonable little newspaper for that. That must be the coffee place we saw there, the tavern. Sign doesn't appear to have anything on it. Yeah, I mean, for the time period, it could have been a lot more, oh, come on. I'm not even allowed to walk around? I didn't want to jump in there. Come on, game. Why do you gotta do this to me? You get me caught. Alright, time to hide. I think it's saying there's stuff at that place there, but we need to go over to the quest. Come on, walk by. Or just leave me alone. That works too. Okay, there's a lot of guys there. Come on, man, I did nothing wrong. Leave me be. Now that does not look like our boy. It's Sam Adams.
You're Achilles' boy. Connor, was it? I saw what happened at the townhouse. A fine mess, that.
Who are you?
Samuel Adams, at your service. Achilles asked me to get you out of Boston.
Explain.
The whole city's looking for you.
Oyez! criminal stalks the streets, wanted in connection with the massacre at the townhouse. Citizens are advised to call the guards if they see him. £10 to whoever brings this madman
What am I supposed to do?
You can take down these posters for a start. Return to me once you remove the others.
Hell yeah. We can take down posters
Take
again.
down those posters and then we'll talk.
Okay. Oh, come on. Really? This is ridiculous. Jump into the water. I don't care. Read up on Sam Adams once we're not wanted. I'm gonna lose him just on this bridge, I bet. Yeah, let's read up on Sam Adams while we're on it. That's dumb. Alright. Samuel Adams, born 1722. Samuel Adams was a Boston lawyer, a signatory of the Declaration of Independence, and a prominent political figure during the lead up to the American Revolution. I think that's put your little life into perspective, hasn't it? Adams was born in Massachusetts, the son of another Samuel Adams, who was a well-off merchant. Adams, the younger one, went to Harvard, graduating in 1740. He went into business for himself, but was a dismal failure and ended up taking a job in the family brewery. A lot of men turn to breweries when their businesses fail, but in a rather different way. And that was fortunate for his historical legacy, since his relationship to beer may be the only reason most Americans have even heard of him. Adams was elected to the Massachusetts legislature in 1765, which was the beginning of his political career. He was a staunch supporter of the colonists' rights, mainly the ever-popular arguments over whether British Parliament had a right to impose taxes, but wasn't pro-independence, at least not at first. I think it's fair to say he changed his mind later. Adams is often portrayed as an angry radical, but that's a bit of a biased picture. Adams disliked vigilantism, for the most part, though he approved when a mob forced Boston stamp collector to resign, so perhaps he only disliked some vigilantism. In later years, when Adams was in Congress, he refused even to join a political party because he found the idea divisive. A sentiment which he shared with George Washington, incidentally. However, Adams' reputation for being a rabble-rouser is somewhat understandable. He was a representative for the town of Boston after the Boston Massacre, and succeeded in having the regulars kicked out of town. He spoke at the Old South Meeting Hall just prior to the Boston Tea Party, and it's said he gave the signal for the dumping of the tea. Though there's some debate over whether he was involved, which I'm happy about, as a gentleman does not waste tea. Again, I don't drink tea either, so... I don't think you should waste things, but, I don't really care. Adams was infamous enough that he had to leave Boston for Lexington in 1775 to avoid arrest by the British, who consider him a troublemaker. When the siege of Boston began, the Massachusetts governor offered to pardon any rebels who would lay down their arms, except Adams and John Hancock. However, Adams certainly was a thorn in the side of the British, though what puzzles me is why some Americans think being an angry revolutionary was a bad thing. It got you where you are today, didn't it? Actually, yes, maybe I see their point after all. Yeah, Sam Adams is one of the more interesting characters, honestly. Alright, we're clear. Now if we could just peacefully climb out of the water. I'm sure it's cold. And, Ratan Haketon probably doesn't like it. Oh, come on! I will just kill everyone if that's what this takes. I can't see anything, jeez. I'm glad that other guy didn't see. Holy cow. So he's looking at me on the map, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's looking that way. Can't actually tell. This camera angle sucks. Can't see shit. Alright, we only need to get one more wanted poster then. Oh my god, they're gonna see me again because they turned in my direction. It's so not cool. Let's see what their pathing looks like. Can someone shut that baby up? Oh my god. Why did he have to turn the second I went for it? That's so annoying. This is a thing that will forever annoy me in this series from now on. It's just enemies just randomly seeing you sometimes. When in almost any other circumstance, they just wouldn't. I honestly want them over there. It's going to be harder for them to see me on that side. Get it? Pull it down. Okay. Enemies will detect us, but we're not, like, immediately wanted now. Hey, Sam.
Ah, Connor. There you are. I'd like you to meet Cyrus.
Is he the killer?
Tease. Cyrus is on our side, or rather, for the right price, he will be.
Have you seen this man?
Watch and learn.
Oh yay! Oh yay! Word has reached us that the man responsible for today's shooting may have been in disguise. A wig and makeup tin were found near the scene of the crime. Witnesses describe a middle-aged gentleman of pale complexion fleeing towards the wharves, rifle in arm.
Thank you kindly, Cyrus.
Pleasure.
Come on, then. There's still one last bit of work to do.
There we go, that helps.
Where are we going?
To the printer. Where do you think all those posters came from?
Is there something about... Oh, that's
Made
just...
by a machine. We need to shut it down.
Okay. We are now incognito, which is nice.
Damn it, we're too late. They've set up a checkpoint. Come on. This way.
I can go by rooftop and meet you there.
No. Better you learn about the tunnels now.
Tunnels?
The Masons have a whole network of them under the city. They're quite useful when speed and secrecy are required.
Ah, yes, the Freemasons. So, which way do we go? That way? Okay. Hello, pal. Just stepping through. Come on, Sam. We gotta go. Gotta get to those tunnels. Oh my gosh. Sam, hurry up! Still pointing me over here, so I don't know why we need the tunnels. Okay, we can't run through there. That's fine. Come on, Sam. There's places to be. Is this taking us to the tunnels, or is it taking it to something else? That's what's confusing me. Oh my god, it's leading me to the wrong place. I think. Maybe. There we go. No, it is the right place. Just had to walk around. Come on. To the tunnels.
Here we are, then. I'll see you inside.
Alright. Did it. We did it. Very nice. Can this load faster?
Hold on.
Holding on. Really never ever come down here in the game, even though it's an option. I like that. Oh, you have to press the button, I see.
We've walked too long. This isn't right.
I understand it's the wrong way. I wanted to look around. Sam Adams, you ruin all the fun.
Use your lantern to light the lamps, Connor. They'll help us find our way should we get turned around.
I wonder why they built these tunnels.
Where's this go?
I can't help but feel this is the wrong direction.
I like to look around, Sam. I guess we don't want to go this way because Sam's with us. Alright. Just try to explore, man. Having a look around.
Excellent. Let us move on. We should turn back and try a different path.
Well, why even have all these tunnels then? Because I seriously have never explored the full thing of these. Makes me wonder why they exist.
Much as it pains me to say it, we must follow the rats, as they often move in the direction of an exit.
So not this way, right?
This seems wrong. We should try another way.
Okay. Sam. If you insist. I just want to look around, man. I like to explore.
Well, well. You were right. I apologize for ever
Two
doubting.
people there for a second.
No wonder Achilles has taken such an interest in you.
I'm so confused.
Arse. I don't suppose lockpicking is part of your repertoire?
Wait, am I actually gonna lockpick again? Whoa, they brought it back. I forgot. There we go.
Well done. The printer isn't far. Let us reconvene there.
Reconvene, okay. Mission complete. All these Freemason tunnels. Trying to be all secret like. It is true though, the Freemasons are like the least secret organization that's a secret organization. Yes, I am waiting to do all the synchronizations until after we've gotten our assassin robes. I just feel like it's right to wait. That won't always be the case in these games, but in this one I just feel like it's the right thing to do. Alright, let's read up on the printer's shop. Printing presses were originally brought to America to print religious texts, but by the time of the Revolutionary War, they were also used for things like newspapers, pamphlets, and broadsheets. Think of it as a colonial internet, about the same speed as dial-up. Unlike word of mouth, newspaper articles could spread news of events from colony to colony quickly, without any loss of information. But that doesn't mean it was unbiased. Far from it. Presses were commonly used to print propaganda. Every newspaper had its slant. Thank goodness that doesn't happen nowadays. Anyway, part of what made the Boston Massacre such a turning point were reprints of Paul Revere's woodcut. It showed organized British soldiers in full formation firing point blank at an innocent crowd. Jeez, if I could just speak. A shocking image which enraged the people and fueled their hatred of the British. Completely made up, of course. But what did that matter? The public is there to be manipulated. Actually, I'd bet you could use these places to print some propaganda of your own. If the soldiers are getting too unfriendly, a little reminder that you're the hero of the people might help. I mean, again, acting like we should be able to change what Connor managed to do in the past is a little bit ridiculous to me. Oh, we actually learned about another group. Jaegers. Hessians were German soldiers who were hired by the British to fight in the Revolutionary War. While Hessians, or Hessians, I don't know if I'm saying that right, technically referred to soldiers who were from the state of Hessen-Kassel, it came to be a blanket term for all of the German mercenaries who fought in the Revolution. The imprecision is easy to understand, of course. When a troop of German soldiers lines up and starts firing at you in war, only the most misguided of geography nerds would stop to ask where they're from. So me, then. Among the Hessian, I don't know. I'm going to go with Hessian because I feel like that's what I've heard in the past. Troops who were sent to fight in the American Revolution, there were at least two units referred to as Jaegers. These were light infantry troops known for being accurate marksmen. Accurate marksmen are very much the best sort of marksmen. The word Jaeger also happens to be a German word for hunter, and early members of the Jaeger troops were mainly comprised of experienced foresters. Again, really accurate gunmen who were good at fighting in the woods is exactly the kind of soldier you'd want for a war in the American frontier. Unsurprisingly, this made Jaegers the most feared and respected divisions of the Hessians. Yeah, that makes sense. And we did see at least one of them before. They sort of act as like the elite character, or elite enemies in this game. Yeah, it's the same guy that
you
we saw
ask
before.
a great deal of me, Sam.
I know, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important, if it wasn't vital.
Fine. Just this once, though. In the future, such things will come at a price. Resetting the type is neither quick nor easy. To say nothing of the cost should I be discovered.
I shall not forget this kindness.
Nor I.
His work will see your last little bit of notoriety erased. Come, I'll show you how to leave now that order's been restored. So, now you've had a chance to see how it all works. Untoward actions will upset the citizens and inevitably lead to the guards being called. Depending on the severity of your transgression, they may simply search a bit before giving up and returning to their post. But should you offend them severely or repeatedly, they'll become much more aggressive in their pursuits. I've shown you 3 ways to turn the tide. Remove wanted posters, bribe town criers, or visit a printer to create your own propaganda.
This feels wrong. Why not just speak to someone and explain my innocence?
You can't be serious.
We counter one lie with another. Words on paper instantly taken as truth. And all of it without question.
They loose this beast. Or have you forgotten? I merely helped you tame and turn it round.
There must be another way. Something more honest.
Well, when you find it, do let me know. But until then, we sculpt with the clay we have.
My apologies. I do not mean to sound ungrateful.
Quite all right. I was much the same at your age. You'll grow out of it.
And if I do not? If I refuse?
Then you'll likely wind up dead.
Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Here we are.
It's a little slimy.
Speak with the harbor master and he'll see you home.
Thank you for everything, Sam. I promise one day to repay the favor.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
like this.
That's nice. We made a friend. Alright, let's head back. So here we can see a pretty interesting map. So yeah, there will be some interesting locations we should be able to visit. But not quite yet. Not quite yet. Let's head back to Port Homestead. I want to go there. Still have a few really interesting missions to do. There's a lot in this game, actually. Like a lot. And we also get to see something pretty cool. You may recognize this beautiful ship from a certain sequence earlier. But we haven't been aboard her yet. Let's change that. Not really much point in climbing it, but yeah, she's definitely seen better days. Yeah, I have been on the ship when it's in this state before. Yeah, there we go. Even the wheel is pretty broken. I can't believe it made it here, honestly. That's the most impressive thing. Definitely needs some hefty repairs. It's a pretty nice ship, though. And honestly, if memory serves, this is either the biggest or second biggest ship you ever sail in this series. I don't want to spoil that, but I guess I just did. Oops. That's a cool ship. Not my favorite in the series, though. My favorite in the series is still at least... Yeah, this game and then another game away. So. And then my second favorite ship in this series is not for quite a while. But we'll get to it. Don't you worry. Look at that, though. That's a pretty nice ship. Just needs some work. Get the beaver! Sorry, beaver. Yeah, that'd be done. I love how I use the assassin, like the Hidden Blade assassination, like, moves, but I don't have the Hidden Blade yet. I don't know if we've looked at the beaver in the database. I'm sure we have, right? Nope. First time. Just clear it out. I actually wish, like... Obviously, I know about these animals. I'm from America. But I kind of wish for people who weren't from America, you could get, like, a little bit of an entry for them. So I'm sure this game, like, sold really well in America, but obviously people in other countries who like Assassin's Creed probably played this game, and it might have been even more interesting for them in that way. Someone who has no history of America. Well, honestly, there's a lot of people in this country that don't know anything about America, so... Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things, I guess. Hello, Achilles. The Lost Sons return. Wonder if that's...
Welcome back.
You left me in Boston.
The training we've done here is all well and good, but experience is a better teacher by far.
What of my father?
Into the wind, I'm afraid.
We have to find him.
And we will, after the house has been repaired.
But he's out there plotting who knows what.
And what would you do when you found him? If you found him? You're a boy with a few months of training. He's a man, full-grown, who spent decades honing his skills. If you're going to stand a chance against the Templars, you're going to need these.
There they are.
Go on before I change my mind.
Well, I might have had a chance to use them, it seems. Gotta kill a bear with the hidden blade.
You, sir, please, help! He's going to die!
What's going on, sir?
Ooh. There's no time! Please, come!
Alright, I'm with you. Either way. Alright. Wish we weren't running through the snow, but that's okay.
Down there! He's just passed under the bridge!
Well, that's not ideal. Well, I didn't realize I needed to run across the riverside, I guess. That's okay. Gotta catch up.
Help me! Please! Someone! Help! Help me! Please!
Come on. We gotta help him.
Someone! Help!
Sorry, Beaver, can't kill you right now. I guess that's good for you, though.
Someone! Help!
I'm on my way, Terry.
Someone! Help! Someone! Help!
There we go. Just in time, too.
What this knobend is trying to say is he's forever in your debt, sir.
Who you calling a knobend?
You, because you are one.
What were you doing on those logs?
One of the dangers of lumbering. We've got the camp set up a few rods off of here as we're cutting timber. We're hoping to open a mill in the area.
There's a good place not far from the manor on the hill where I'm staying.
I like you already. We'll have a look.
Yeah, he needs to go get warmed up, though. So he's just gonna get frostbite. Okay, we didn't use the hidden blades. I thought this was one we were gonna get to use those for.
I'll miss the peace and quiet, but we can certainly use the wood.
The manor needs a lot of work.
That and other things. Meet me at the small shack by the shoreline when you have time. There's something else you need to see.
What is it?
An asset.
Oh, we already know what that is. Oh, it's gonna show us. Oh, something over there, yeah. We better go do that. That doesn't look good at all. Yeah, we can actually work on our homestead. That is definitely something I want to do. So yeah, here's our lumber mill. We can find Joffrey and Terry. Yeah. Let's see. What's the map got going on? I definitely want to do this. Also, there's someone over here. Catherine. Some little snowman. Oh yeah, look, it's got a little hat. Hold on. Yeah, it's got a little white hat. Ooh, another person. He must be building a snowman. Hello, Catherine. Yeah, pretty soon we'll have a nice little bustling community here. But not quite yet. Alright, we gotta go help our next interesting character over here. I love these little missions for the homestead. They're quite nice. Give you a lot of character for not just the characters you meet here, but Connor as well. It's really nice to get to know him a little more.
Let's see if our man can fly.
It's a good thing he's not hanging from his neck.
Please help me!
Oh, no, 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 no. No! How? God damn it. I've fallen. Get back up there. I think one of those guys fell, actually. Could help us out. All things considered. Bye. I want to kill this guy, but that's okay. Hold on, I can. Okay, I can't. Never mind. Alright, a little faster there, pal. with such little effort, he can pull a whole man up. Connor is just built different. He is so strong, and he's only, what, like 16, 17 at this part?
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you all right?
I think so. Didn't do much to me aside from a good scare. Blackguards.
What did they want with you?
My purse, which was meager, and they decided to punish me for their trouble. Silly, really. My tools and equipment were worth a king's share to the right man. In any case, I had best get on my way. It's a long walk to the nearest inn. I thank you again for your kindness.
Have you no home?
Oh, well, I was a proud resident of Boston until recently, but I'm not a supporter of His Majesty, and, well, I was forced out of my woodshop and home by loyalists.
There are plenty around here who could use the services of a skilled craftsman if you were looking for somewhere to settle.
Is that right? I may look into that.
Yeah. Some of the interactions are a little stunted. Like, there was nothing said. There was no sound for a hot minute when he was walking over to pick him up, and he picked him up real slow. But otherwise, it's really nice to get a little bit of a feel for the characters. And to be fair, let's be real. Connor would be a little bit, what's the word? Just, I don't know. I think he would act a little bit strange around some characters. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah. Ooh. Peg leg trinket. We'll definitely need that. There's 4 of them around. I don't remember if, why is my phone trying to update right now? Like, bro, settle down, phone. I don't remember if there's a map for the peg leg trinkets. Let me just double check here. Because I don't want to grab them if there's not a map for them, because then I'm going to have to look up something for it to find them all. Alright, let's see here. Okay, that didn't help. Okay, there is an in-game map for them. So I'm not going to look it up. I think there's only 4 in the homestead here. But we'll worry about that soon enough. Right now we're going to go check out something quite amazing. A little outhouse there. Other than tents, and I really wouldn't count tents, probably Assassin's Creed's smallest building is the humble, ancient porta potty. Well, it's not really porta, it's just an outhouse. It's kind of like a porta potty, it's just less porta. Should probably show one around the other way. This is all just like cliff here. Come on, you want to climb that? There we go. We'll look for the peg leg trinkets later. I believe there's like 24 of them or something like that in the game. Somewhere around there. Oh. Let's go swimming. Gotta pass by the ship. Even broken, it looks really cool, honestly. That's a good looking ship. Just needs some work. I'm impressed it actually still floats at this point. I guess it is made out of wood, so that probably helps a little bit.
I met him once, that captain. He was 7 feet tall if he was an inch. I tell ya, legs like tree trunks and a smithy's arms. Almost broke my hand shaking it'll know. I could feel it then when I met him. No weapon made by man could harm him.
Interesting, Mr. Pegleg. Someone in here is singing to themselves.
Go away!
Said go away, boy! Do you not speak the King's English? Oh, I didn't see you there, old man. I'd have set my home in order if I'd known you'd be calling.
The boy's name is Connor. He's here to restore the property.
Restore? Restore? Pardon my manners. She's still the fastest in the Atlantic. Sure, she needs some attention. Minor things mostly, but with a little affection, she'll fly again.
Who is she?
Who is she? Why, the Aquila boy. The ghost of the North Seas.
The boat.
A boat? She's a ship, boy, and make no mistake about it. I thought you brought him here to restore order. I reckon he's the greenest thing on the frontier.
Connor, meet me back at the manor when you've finished here.
You said it requires repairs. You able?
She does need work. A ship is a she. And yes, I can refit her, but I'm lacking in the proper supplies. Some quality timber would help me get started.
I can see to that. How long before she is able to sail again?
Just get me the lumber, boy. I'll raise a crew.
He's quite drunk. He's an interesting guy. Robert Faulkner, born 1715. Robert Faulkner is probably the most storied member of the Assassin's Navy, though he was never formally named to a position above first mate. Robert Faulkner was the 4th generation of his family to be a seaman. I'm glad I didn't say that out loud, but the first in his family to be recruited to work for the Assassins. He started off in the Royal Navy, but finding his career stalled, Partly due to his inability to purchase commissions, he left to work for the United Company of Merchants. In 1753, Faulkner disappears from the historical record, presumed dead, but that's because he joined the Assassins as first mate of the flagship, the Aquila. Faulkner was much sought after as a mariner. Recruiting him was quite a coup for the Brotherhood. He had a reputation for having a disciplined crew and an almost uncanny knack for avoiding trouble, not to mention predicting the weather, whether through years of experience or some other more mysterious ability, because I totally believe in those. Faulkner would know when a storm or calm patch of a sea was coming in. He could use it to his advantage. Imagine that, a natural weatherman who could accurately predict the weather. The world would never see his likes again. Faulkner served on board the Aquila until it was nearly destroyed in 1768, always deferring when asked to become the captain. He never gave his reasons why. However, his love for the ship was quite touching. He had it towed to its location near Boston, despite doubts that it would ever be seaworthy again. Faulkner could have gone back to sea aboard another ship, but didn't. He stayed close to the ever-deteriorating Aquila and took to drinking, which is where Connor found him. Yeah. Oh, there's something else in there. Assuming one for the Aquila. Yeah. Don't let appearances deceive you. You're looking at the former flagship of the Assassin Navy, if perhaps a little past its prime. The Aquila was built in France in 1749 in the city of Brest. Stop it. The design was incredibly innovative for its time. The ship was light, fast, and could carry a surprising amount of artillery for its size. It would be decades before there were schooners that could match the Aquila's speed. Of course, there were some disadvantages of the design, namely that the ship handling was very touchy and required an experienced crew. That meant the Aquila was underutilized until the Assassins hired someone who would be able to use the ship to its full potential, Robert Faulkner. In 1754, the Aquila followed a Templar ship into a storm and was lost with all hands aboard. Or so we wanted the Templars to think. In reality, it sustained only minor damage, was refitted, and became the Assassin's secret weapon, staying out of major harbors, using its speed and elements of surprise to harass ships on Templar business. The Aquila took on mythical qualities. It was whispered about in ports along the eastern seaboard as the Ghost of the North Seas, a pirate vessel crewed by ghosts that could appear and disappear into a sudden fog. This reputation was due both to Faulkner's uncommon skill and the superstitious nature of most sailors who loved a ghost story and all wanted to marry a mermaid. Eventually, the Templars cottoned on to what had happened, but it did take them more than a decade. They weren't the sharpest tools, let's say, in a box full of spoons. In 1768, the ship was caught in a trap by 3 British frigates. The Aquila was able to limp away from the battle, but ran aground in shallow water. The British left it for lost. Robert Faulkner survived the battle and had the ship towed back to a private bay near Boston, where it and Faulkner slowly deteriorated. That is, until Connor found them both. Which is a good story, all things considered. Alright, let's see about repairing this bad boy. I also gotta talk to Achilles. Just gotta make our way back up here. Just a little bit of back and forth, you know? There we go. Raccoons! Oh, I could have killed that other one. Get him! There we go. Just cleared that out. Do need to kill lots of animals, sadly. So I hope you don't like animals too much. So we're gonna have to kill them. As someone who likes animals, I feel like I wouldn't do it. I mean, I get why Connor has to, though. It's just what you do, you know? At this point in history. And if I had to kill an animal for food, I could, I think. But I wouldn't want to. That's for sure.
There you are. I've something to show you. Come, take a look.
What is it?
A ledger. It lets us manage the homestead's dealings.
And these?
That was years ago. Before the slow fever, before the Templars. before everything collapsed. But that's all in the past. Better we focus on what's in front of us. Take up the ledger, and I'll teach you how it all works.
Alright, so in here we get probably the most confusing version of this in the series. Stockpile allows you to purchase items from homesteaders and displays the items you currently own. Press X to enter the stockpile. Godfrey and Terria, the lumberjacks, have oak lumber available for purchase. Press X to purchase the oak lumber. Use L to select the amount you want. We want the max, so we'll just do that. Can't confirm. Okay, so then go to the trading menu. We can go to Band Convoy. There we go. And then each merchant and location has its advantages and disadvantages regarding time, risk, tax, and value of the product. Choose wisely. So it's Boston, 2 in stockpile. Hancock store, number 5. Okay, so actually I need to look at the bottom left here. Profit plus 21 for him. Okay, we can only select him, it's fine. Items are placed in the selected slots. Press triangle to send the convoy. So it takes 12 minutes. Risk 35%, tax 30%. Yeah. I very rarely send stuff on those. Especially since they can be attacked. And I think they're actually a physical thing that you can go defend, but I don't know. That just takes too much time, and I'm not about that life. For such limited
time passed quickly after that. My days a blur of study, training, and work. What little free time Achilles allowed me was spent learning about the Templars, about Charles Lee and my father. I longed to confront them, to put an end to their schemes, to ensure my people would remain untroubled and free. But I knew it was too soon, that to approach them now would see me killed. All my work would be for nothing. Patience, restraint. These proved the most difficult subjects for me. But in time, I mastered them as well. Days and months.
Wait, I thought that was Watermelon. Oh, fuck.
My skills and knowledge.
Oh, no. No. Oops. Well, I guess we didn't need to hear that. Fuck. God damn it. Okay, we'll go do this quest in a second. I am personally just going to run and use the restroom real quick, and I will be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I just feel like now is better than in the middle of what is about to come, so I shall be back. Okay. Apologies for the little break there. It just had to happen. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. Let's go launch this. Sail to Martha's Vineyard to equip the Aquila with cannon. Officers must also be hired to command the new guns. Yes, I want to start this naval mission.
Come aboard and feast your eyes, boy. No, not the left foot. Never the left foot. Horrible look. Step with your right foot first.
I love how superstitious he is. It's fun.
She is solid?
Aye. Weatherly and sleek. She'll fetch 12 knots in a stiff gale. Ne'er a ship from here to Singapore can outrun her on her best day. What do you say we take her out? Show you what she can do firsthand.
Where would we go?
As it happens, she still needs guns and the officers to command them. We'll launch straight away. Don't worry, lad. I'll make sure you sprout good sea legs.
I do wonder where we get the money.
All in the mainsail! Get up the rigging! Hand over fist! Come on, men! Let's get her out where she needs to be!
Also, it's crazy to think the assassins just need to hire guys to work their ships. So I suppose they know. He has to have contacts, right? That's probably who we're going to look at. Not just anybody.
Come on, lad. No time like the present. Take the helm.
Alright, let's do it.
Double time, boy. It's time you learned.
No, we have to read. We have to learn about that first. Naval ships. You probably don't know much about 18th century naval warfare because you don't know much about anything at all. So here's a rundown of some of the types of vessels you're likely to encounter. I won't say I don't know anything about naval warfare in the 18th century. I don't know as much about, say, World War I or II, though. Or I don't know as much as I know about World War I or II naval stuff, though. That's fair. Frigates. These are long, relatively light vessels with a lot of guns, more than 28. If you want to get technical about it. Frigates were light and easily maneuverable, so they were often used for reconnaissance or escorting merchant vessels. Frigate is also a terrific word to use if you want to swear, but your mother-in-law is nearby. Gunboats. These were smaller vessels generally containing only one gun, but it was a really big gun. The gun in the boat is where the term gunboat gets the word gun from. It's not known why the word boat is there. Gunboats were relatively inexpensive to build and could be assembled quickly. They were most often used to bombard targets on land. Although gunboats can easily be destroyed by a larger ship, such as a frigate, several gunboats together would do some serious damage before a larger ship could destroy them all. Strength in numbers, and guns, of course. Mostly guns. I do wonder how accurate that is if they really had a bunch of ships with only one gun on them. It's kind of funny. Schooner. Schooners are small, light craft, noted for their speed. These were the preferred ships for privateers during the American Revolution. There was nothing better for breaking through enemy lines faster than you could get shot at, or for making a fast getaway. Nowadays, of course, we have jet skis. Man of war. This isn't really a naval classification, but more of a catch-all term for a warship carrying a lot of cannon. Most of the man of wars you will see will likely be ships of the line, which are essentially big ships with multiple gun decks stacked on one another. Basically, naval warfare consisted of lining up your ships broadside against the enemy's ships in order to hit them with the most cannonballs possible. Of course, the enemy would be trying to do the same thing. Predictably, the biggest ships with the most guns usually won, leading to the building of more ships with even bigger guns. It wasn't sophisticated, but by God, it worked. I will say, Sean, he definitely dumbs it down way beyond what it actually was. There's way more to it than that.
Come on, she won't bite.
But it's Assassin's Creed. It's not supposed to be naval simulator.
You're connected to an half sail.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to This particular
Set a
game
course
has
for Martha's Vineyard. We'll
some of the
find
most
our guns
interesting
and officers there.
ways to control a
She's
ship,
a
though.
nimble vessel, but the faster she goes, the more cumbersome she grows. And the firmer your hand needs to be. Enjoy this stretch of open water before we come upon those shallows.
This one
Call for full sail if you like.
doesn't have full like zoom out mode that you get in most of the games, but there is one other Assassin's Creed
Wind
game
looks to
that's
be
like
shifting. Stay alert, Connor. Gusty winds can be difficult to manage.
Well, I think I can handle it. This one's also the only one to take wind into account, which I think is very interesting. Oh, we're fine. Don't need to do that. I guess we can, just for the sake of the game settling down. That ship up there is doing some Tokyo drift. I love, like, the logic of having it be a video game so the ships have to be, like, stupid fast.
Now, take us through these shallows. Careful not to run up on them. The sandbars will slow us down, but the rocks will put a hole through a hull. And if you want to make a quick tack, call for half sail. She's more maneuverable then.
Oh, we'll be alright. We don't have to worry too much. It is really hard to see a forward of us, though.
Mind those other vessels! Hold your tack to keep you right of way!
I love that they're singing along, though. That's awesome. This game definitely has some interesting mechanics with the ship. They're heavily improved in later ones, though I'm sure there's someone who likes this one's ship controls better than any of the other games. It wouldn't shock me if there was someone who thought that way. And I think we will be able to do a ton, and I mean a ton of naval missions pretty quickly. If that's something we're interested in doing. I might. I love these missions. They're fun. Honestly, maybe my favorite part of the game is the naval stuff.
Cottages! We're close!
There we go. Pardon me, little ship. I'm coming through. Little schooner.
Drop anchor! We'll go ashore, buy our guns, and find our officers.
Let's do it.
Oh, hello, Miss Mandy. You're looking every bit as ravishing as I remember.
After all these years, you sail all the way to the vineyard to pay me compliments?
We are looking for David and Richard Clutterbuck.
Nice to see you, too.
Robert Faulkner. Where the hell you been?
Sorry for leaving like I did, lads, but where I was going, no one could know. You two working much?
Nah, between contracts at the moment.
Well, we're looking for gunnery officers. What would you two say to working with me again?
We'd be for getting into a few more scraps.
Good show.
The Aquila is a fine vessel. We're fitting all the guns as we speak.
Looks like your friend's about to catch a beating.
Where is Charles Lee?
I don't much care for your tone.
Hey, you don't want to be doing that, Biddle.
Bobby Faulkner turned to wet nursing. It's
Good you finally realize you're a shite sailor.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not in here, gentlemen. Better still, not at all. Bobby, take your friends and get out!
Let's go, boys. Our guns ought to be ready. Come on.
Well, we've just made the acquaintance of a few interesting characters. It's interesting to see Church here again. Nice. Those are some nice cannons. They'll do. Alright. I'm sure there's a couple of database entries in here we can read. Yeah, 3 of them. Alright, so we met Amanda Bailey, born 1730. Amanda Bailey was a well-known and well-liked innkeeper in Martha's Vineyard around the time of the American Revolution. She was born in North Carolina in 1730, the oldest of a large family. Her mother died when she was 14, leaving young Amanda to work and help care for her younger brothers and sisters alone. Amanda first crossed paths with Robert Faulkner when she was a teenager. She was working for the United Company of Merchants. She was a barmaid. Clearly a recipe for romance. Sorry, he was working for the United Company of Merchants. That makes more sense. They exchanged letters. I suppose it was the texting of its day, which stopped when Faulkner disappeared from Halifax to join the assassins. Sad face. Despite reports that Faulkner had fallen overboard and was dead, Amanda felt that he was still alive somewhere, and after several years, she went in search of him. Possibly so she could give him a hell for abandoning her, but I'm speculating. She never found Faulkner and eventually settled in Martha's Vineyard, taking a job and working in a local inn, which she later purchased. Amanda had a born talent for leadership and organization. She was responsible for setting up the first school in the area, not to mention advocating for improvements to the docks to bring in more business. Her inn was a hub for gossip during the Revolution, particularly if you wanted the latest in ship movements. It will probably come as no surprise to you that she was a spy for the Patriots, but that's only been publicly known since 1919, when a box of her personal correspondence was found, including some coded notes in Benjamin Talmadge's handwriting, which is definitely interesting. Then we also met Nicholas Biddle, born 1750. Nicholas Biddle was an ambitious young sailor who became one of the first captains of the Continental Navy. Biddle joined the Royal Navy in 1770. The British side, but when the American Revolution started, he offered his services to the Continental Congress. So a traitor then, though it's funny how you lot don't generally see it that way. Anyway, while he was only a midshipman for the British, Congress quickly gave him command of his own ship, the Franklin. In 1776, he was offered an even better deal, command of a brand new ship named the Randolph. History's mute on the reasons behind Biddle's rise to prominence. However, I think I might be able to solve the mystery. We saw Church recruiting him when Connor stopped at Nantucket. Biddle eventually became a privateer for the Continental Congress, patrolling British shipping routes, harassing their ships, and keeping the spoils from any he could capture. He had a reputation as an excellent captain. He divided the spoils evenly and never used corporal punishment against his crew. What a softy. Pitiful, really. Though I think you can see why that would be a childbirth. Also, he has, quite the chin in that picture. David and Richard Clutterbuck, born 1733 and 1735, respectively. David and Richard Clutterbuck were gunners in the Merchant Navy, starting in the mid-18th century. According to their reputation, these two aren't averse to a friendly fistfight over pretty much anything. So if you're talking to them, try not to mix up their names. David is the older brother, Richard is the younger. Oh, and definitely don't try and be funny with their surname. The Clutterbucks were a Dutch family who moved to London when David and Richard were young. Their father was a dock worker, and so the two brothers grew up near and in the dockyards, running errands to pass the time and earn extra cash. They showed an early aptitude, an affinity, if you will, for fighting. The two brothers joined a crew with Robert Faulkner on board the Stalwart in 1750 and working with him until he disappeared in 1753. Unlike many to go to sea in search of adventure and treasure, the Clutterbucks' motivation was somewhat different: guns. They grew up hearing the stories of the sea, but it wasn't until they overheard a gunner talking about the powder of his cannon that they decided a sailor's life was for them. The sailor was not, in fact, talking about an actual cannon, but the impressionable lads missed it. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying he was talking about another type of cannon, a different weapon altogether. I'm saying he was talking about his cannon and he was saying his cannon had power. I'm using speech marks to make it obvious. He had a powerful weapon. He wielded an enormous penis. Still don't get it. Oh well. The Clutterbucks spent years traveling on various merchant and privateer vessels, almost always hiring as a pair. They eventually settled semi-permanently in Martha's Vineyard, taking it as a place to rest between contracts before they would get tired of all the quiet and hire onto another crew. I'll explain that joke again later. I'm sure that Desmond got it, Sean. It's fine. The rest of us understand too. Alright, well, let's get out of here. Now that we got some cannons, let's go.
What the bloody hell was that about?
The older man is a Templar. Who was he with?
A Templar? The young buck was Nicholas Biddle. Nobody. Sails before the mast. Midshipman for the Crown.
Are the guns ready?
Aye, but we won't jump in over our heads. We'll find a suitable target and show you how they work. We've fitted her with a modest amount of guns to start, but rest assured there's ample room to add more should you feel the need.
Oh, I think we'll feel the need eventually.
Reduce speed.
Looks like a British frigate with half seas over. Should do nicely for a spotted target practice. Bring around broadside, and when all guns are on target, call fire.
Alright.
Round shot for a
Two.
start.
Fuck yeah.
Well done, boy. Now, aim all guns at her bow and do as much damage as possible.
Nice.
You missed. Best bring her round again.
Oh, come on. That was good. There we go.
Some old powder in there.
Good. Now give the swivel guns a turn. More precise. Hit those old powder barrels and light up the sky.
There we go.
Not bad for a spot, Captain.
You are a fast learner.
Provided something interests me.
Ah. Getting a taste for the open sea, are we? We'll make a jack tar out of you yet. Now we should be getting back. The old man is like to have my hide for keeping you out so long.
Deploy the half sail.
Let's get a move on then. Quite enjoy our new shipborne freedom. We got our guys on each side there, if you see them. The Clutterbucks. Hello.
Why is he shooting at us?
Destroying property of the crown, disturbing the king's peace, take your pick.
What do we do?
Naught else but to fight back. Sink the bastard.
Use the swivels on him, Captain.
There we go. More ships.
English frigate! Oh, be big twattles, another one. Where in the bloody hell did she come from?
Yeah, she's coming up super fast. There we go. Getting shot at? No. Come on. You gotta attack me so I can get this thing done. There we go. Well, I did it. I don't know why it didn't count. Okay. We were too good, I guess.
Carry on, sailor. Not bad for your first voyage, eh, boy?
I don't know why we got attacked.
Getting back at the old man will have my guts for garters.
Must have been to do with Benjamin Church, right? Oh, hello, Joe. What are you doing up at this time? This is an odd hour to see you. I'm glad you're here, but like, can't sleep or something? Run, 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 run. This game can barely build a floor faster than I can run on it. I'm just surprised
I
to
got
see Joe
'em,
here.
all of them. You get what I need, and I'll give 'em to you. Simple. You got a ship. Could find 'em all to boot.
Who is that man?
Him? Some old soul's always on about letters he's got from Captain Kidd. Nonsense, really, but he doesn't hurt no one, so I'll leave him be. Talk to him if you fancy, but be warned he'll chew your ear off. Anyway, the Aquila's here for you. If you should get a pang for the open sea, we'll be waiting. Now, I implore you to head up the hill before the old man comes out of retirement just for me.
Yeah, we can't let that happen.
3 weeks. And not even a goodbye before you left.
Sorry.
Well, what are you waiting for? Put them on.
It's time. This was my main goal for this episode.
Once upon
so.
a time, we had a ceremony on such occasions. But I don't think either of us are really the type for that. You've your tools and training, your targets and goals. And now you have your title. Welcome to the Brotherhood, Connor.
We did it. We got our assassin robes. And they look pretty good. Oh, time to get out of the Animus.
Welcome back, Desmond. You'll be happy to hear there's actually good news for once.
Yeah?
I've managed to locate a power source, and it's relatively close by. Up for a trip to Manhattan?
Is it safe to leave? Abstergo's gotta be looking for us.
Obviously it's not safe. Can't exactly sit around here hoping to get lucky, though, can we? We need that power source. Besides, I'm sure you can cook up some way to hide our movements.
Maybe. The Templars have access to all kinds of satellites and camera systems. We'll need to find a way to mask our digital signature. I can probably camouflage the van, too. But there's not much I can do for us.
That's an easy one.
Aha, he just has a hood. That immediately means you can't see him. It is kind of funny, but it's cool. I like it.
Local utility companies have assured the public that they're completely prepared for the upcoming solar maximum. Disruptions to service are expected to be minimal.
If only they knew.
What's this?
A remote-operated camera. It'll provide us with a feed while you're on mission. This will let us talk to each other.
We're almost there, so listen up. The artifact is in an office penthouse in Lower Manhattan. At this time of night, direct infiltration is going to get you noticed. I think we're better off having you drop in from above.
What do you mean, above?
Yep, that's what he means. This part is pretty awesome. There's a reason this game might actually have my favorite modern day mission.
You hear me? Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yep, read you just fine. Now why don't you power up the camera? I've got pictures. Running diagnostics.
Wow, that's a pretty terrible picture.
Perfect. I've got a nice, strong signal.
It is the excuse to have third person. We're watching from the camera. Alright, let's get a move on. Got some modern day parkour. It's kind of neat. The game will never let us do this kind of stuff again. Or the series, I should say, not this game. This game has a couple cool modern day missions. And while I'm generally against a modern day setting for Assassin's Creed, I wouldn't mind having a couple missions intermittently put into the games like this. I think that'd be kind of cool. This game did it really well, I think. Look how cool this is. This is sweet.
Oh, don't hold still. It's a lovely view.
Seriously, Sean? Fuck you.
Yeah, this is maybe the sweatiest fingers you'd ever get in this game. Because the sheer height of these modern skyscrapers, especially in Manhattan, is crazy. It is one of the only good reasons, I think, to do a modern-day Assassin's Creed, but I don't think they could ever do it justice, considering how big the buildings are and how detailed you have to make it convincing. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some big buildings in the Assassin's Creed games as there are. But, like, could you imagine having to model all of these as climbable structures and then climb around them? That'd be fucking wild. Maybe someday in the future, but... No! Why did he fall off? Desmond, no. Jesus Christ.
Just a heads up. There's no elevator access.
Oh, we're all the way down
You'll
here.
have to get up there the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, shame there's not an elevator. But it is under construction, so that makes sense. I'm disappointed I fell, though. That was annoying. It's crazy, like, as a species, we have built these gigantic buildings like this, when you think about it. Like, some, like, movies and stuff don't really do these buildings justice. And sometimes even seeing them doesn't. Like, this... Like, it's just buildings as far as you can see, basically. I mean, there is the ocean there. Or not the ocean, but, whatever you want to call it. But then it's just all these big, tall buildings. It's crazy. I've never been to New York. So, yeah. I wouldn't mind visiting. I wouldn't want to, like, stay there too long. There's not too much that I'd want to see, but, like, just to take it in, I guess, you know? There's a few places.
Jesus.
Look on the bright side. No security to worry about.
Yeah, that is true.
Not so bright side. The slightest misstep means you're effectively paged.
Thanks,
Shut up,
Sean. Luckily, we're very capable. Just gotta be smart about it. There we go. That's sketchy to me. That is way more sketchy, though. Could you imagine? Nah, I'd be like, nope, could never even attempt it. Never. That jump, too.
Once you reach the top of the lit-up crane, you should be high enough to make the jump.
Should?
It'll be fine, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, you might want to worry a little. I'm pretty sure she was high when she was running the numbers.
Sean!
A joke. It was a joke. Or was it?
Oh, man. I want to go inside there and just climb the ladder. But we don't got time for that. We just got to climb. I do find it really preposterous that no one would see us doing this and call the cops, but, you know. Not necessarily the climbing the building part, but what we're about to do with the parachute. And this might be the most epic
Jump when you're ready, but wait
jump.
for my signal to open the chute. Timing's really important here. Too soon or too late, and you'll miss the building.
Like, granted, we're not going all the way down, but this, look at that. This has to be not only the highest leap of faith, but, though we aren't going all the way down, as I said, but the most epic one. This is crazy. I wonder if there's any super recognizable buildings in this that we can see, or if it's... It looks kind of generic, and honestly it looks way bigger than I imagine it actually is. But it's really cool. Yeah, you can see there's some of the same buildings used. That's okay, though.
Now, open your chute now.
There we go. Almost thought it didn't work there. Yeah. Let's go. Now, the real question is, why is this power source in an office building? But I'm assuming this is an Abstergo office building, so that would make sense. Very nice. No infiltration, we're just here. There it is. Yeah, it's definitely Abstergo. See the book with the Abstergo logo on it. And high tech.
That wasn't so bad.
So, you must be Desmond. Not exactly what I expected, but I guess your kind doesn't have many options these days.
Who are you?
Ask your father. Now give me that.
I don't think so.
Look, I'm not supposed to kill you, but the boss man didn't say anything about fucking you up. So you got to the counter.
Dino Cross is kind of a failure. That's... Come on, bro. You had a gun. How'd you lose?
So who the hell is Daniel Cross?
Believe it or not, he used to be an assassin. The assassin, the way I've heard it told, but it turned out he was a sleeper agent for Abstergo, programmed to infiltrate and destroy the organization.
How did he know you were there? We could be compromised.
They must have caught me snooping inside their network and sent Cross to see what we were after. If they were aware of our current location, we'd know. Though, I will say this. Doesn't bode very well for future expeditions.
No.
I've set up some cameras topside. If anyone shows up, we'll see it.
I'd suggest you go see about finding a socket for that power source. Or we can return to Connor if you prefer. All the artifacts in the world won't mean a thing without the key.
Yeah. I want to check out everything in here before we go back in. I think it'll be worth checking out our emails here. Okay. A bunch of 01s. Some binary. It works. I should hardly be surprised. Electrical impulses move from one pathway to another. You call them networks. Our word for them was more akin to road. It is yet difficult to project a thought from one medium to another, yet it works, it works, it works. Interesting. Definitely someone from for Civ. Sean Hastings about Hatham's Blades. I've been doing some digging on Hatham's Blades, still not 100% sure where they came from. My initial instinct was he started out as an assassin. I believe his father was one, in fact, but it appears he was a Templar from pretty early on. Maybe he took them from someone. It's happened before, and they're quite handy. I'm surprised more Templars haven't put them to use. Pretty easy to build a pair if you know what you're doing. We got this person talking to us again. I've found a way to better control the impulses to formulate a thought and transmit it to add a sense of structure, a sense of order. You fear order, your kind. The gentle hand he tends the flock. It is kindness, not a cruelty. I wonder, will you ever understand your enemies do in their own way, but they share your base heritage. Their concept is flawed. They are not worthy. You have all proved unworthy of our gifts. And this is Sean about Juno again. Looks like Juno's really taking a shine to you. I suggest you don't engage her. There isn't time to go down that rabbit hole. It's sure to provide a badger's den. It's sure to prove a badger's den. Besides, this whole experience is actually... It's sure to prove a badger's den. Besides, this whole experience is actually... That final door, salvation was it? But for us, who knows? Here we sit, working towards something we know next to nothing about. But it's our only chance, so there's that, I suppose. And then Sean again. But this is presumably Juno talking to us, I guess. Yeah, you should not meddle in affairs that do not concern you. Well, somebody doesn't like me. All these Juno visits, and emails too, apparently, have got me thinking, what happened to Tinia and Minerva? They're the ones who invited us to this little apocalypse party, and now they've gone and buggered off. Little inconvenient, not to mention rude. I'll try to poke around later, see if there's not some sign of what happened to them. Yeah, it is a good question, honestly. What do you have to say? No, that's not what I want.
I know everyone thinks I'm being silly, but I can't shake the feeling we're being watched.
Her head.
We are being watched. By Juno. Or some version of her.
Do you think it's a recording? Or is she a ghost? Or something else? Is she talking to us the way Minerva talked to Ezio?
No clue. I mean, who knows what else they were working on down here? There's still so many rooms we don't have access to.
But do you think she's like literally down here, waiting somewhere, still alive?
Still alive? That's mental. That means she'd be at least 75, 80,000 years old? Oh, powerful, yeah, but not that powerful.
They came down here looking for a way to survive. Maybe they found one.
That would be wild.
Was it weird seeing Cross?
What do you mean?
It's different for you. You don't know about what happened, I guess. For a long time, he was important to us. He was a different person.
Sean said he was a sleeper agent. Like Lucy.
It was different. She made a choice, but Cross, if you read the files, Abstergo just... They did terrible things to him.
Rebecca?
You're lucky. We all are. We have people who care about us, who look out for us. He was all alone, and the people he thought he could trust, they used him.
Did you know him?
No, but I knew Hannah.
Who's that?
She tried to help him. She trusted him. But there was a raid about a year ago. She stayed behind so the others could escape. Tried to reason with him to see if she could fix things.
Well, what happened?
What do you think happened? He killed her. That's what he does. That's all he knows how to do. Sometimes it seems like that's all any of us know how to do.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
I just want to be alone right now.
I'm sorry, Rebecca. I'll leave you be. Let's go talk to Sean again. Then we'll talk to William. I like Sean's insights into things, even though he can be a little bit pretentious sometimes. He gets a lot of stuff right, to be fair.
Ah, Desmond, there you are. Can I ask a favor?
Maybe.
When this is all over, I'd like to try turning the dial back on the Animus. Like, all the way back. To the time of the first civilization.
You think it would work?
There was no real loss of fidelity when you visited Altair. Then again, that was about 1,000 years ago, and I'm looking at going back at least 70,000 more.
Sure, I'd be up for it. Be interesting to see what things were like back then.
Excellent. I think it would prove most enlightening.
I think we're going to have to wait a while for that, though there is some looks into it. I won't spoil what.
So this is how it started.
What are you up to?
Just brushing up on my American history. I say history. They certainly teach you strange things in the States.
Like what?
Well, for all the talk of this being a revolutionary war, it was a civil one. Well, not that kind of civil. I mean, there was no America versus Britain. It was Brit on Brit action. And you can clearly see how the whole thing got started. One war gave birth to the other.
You mean the 7 Years' War?
Exactly. Seems the Crown overspent in its attempt to keep the French out, wound up with a great deal of debt. Believing that the colonists should help to shoulder the burden, new taxes were created. It was a reasonable request, even if Parliament was rather, well, undiplomatic about it.
Well, it's not really fair to tax people for a war they didn't want any part of.
What? Didn't want any part of? Did you not notice George Washington with Edward Braddock? He was right there in the middle of it. So here you have the Crown spending who knows how much money to secure a place for the colonists to thrive, and then, when they ask for a little bit of help... Right, look, think of it this way. King George and the colonists, they all go out to dinner, right? And when the bill comes, George asks for them to kick in and pay their share. Fair enough. But keep in mind, he's been taking them out to dinner gratis for decades now. But the colonists, oh no, they insist they only had a glass of water and a side salad. Never mind the table's full of half-eaten food and empty bottles of wine. Now, when the king points this out, what do the colonists do? Oh, they flip the table over and they storm out the restaurant. Probably intending to return later and burn it down.
You left out the part where the king pointed a gun at the colonists and asked them to cover dinner for everyone in the restaurant.
Right, yeah, interesting take. If he pulled out a gun, and I'm not sure he did, it would only have been after the 100th failed attempt at getting them to pay their fair share.
But how do you define someone's fair share?
Oh, well, with a war, apparently.
Yeah, and therein lies the difference. I don't know. I see where Sean's coming from, but I think most reasonable people in the colonies would have understood if they had to pay, right? But there was clearly a disconnect on how much.
I wonder how many other places like this exist.
There are dozens of them, all over the world.
And somehow no one's ever found one before us.
I don't think that's true.
Oh?
When I was at Abstergo, Vidic talked about silencing discoveries made by non-Templars. And I'm sure Abstergo has dug up plenty.
The things they must know.
Regretting throwing in with us?
No. Just looking forward to when we can finally trounce those bastards so I can dive into their archives. Oh, I think I found a lead on another power source. Later, Desmond. I'm in the middle of something very important right now. Just, that's a rule. Just follow that as a rule.
All right. I'll leave you be, Sean. William, what's up?
Son, I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have lashed out like that. You have to understand, I've never been very good at this. Never mind that we live rather extraordinary lives.
Yeah, I kinda liked my ordinary one.
You can't escape who you are, Desmond.
So I've noticed.
Look, it's silly for us to go back and forth like this. I admit, I did a shitty job raising you. I apologize, I'm sorry. But it's important you understand it didn't come from a bad place. You're my son. I love you. I guess I was so busy trying to make sure nothing bad happened, I didn't consider the consequences. Truce?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't believe it's taken me so long to ask, but... how's Mom? She's not...
No. Your mother is fine. We decided it was safer if we split up for this job.
Always assuming the worst.
For good reason.
Can I at least say hi to her?
I'm sorry, it's too risky. Maybe when we're done.
Right. When we're done.
I do hope we eventually get to meet Desmond's mom. I don't believe she's ever been in anything.
Have we ever tried to make peace with the Templars?
Throughout our history, there have been moments. Several, in fact. But it's impossible. There are existential differences, insurmountable. If there were to be unity, it wouldn't be a truce so much as a submission.
But knowing what's about to happen, wouldn't it make sense to try and talk to Vidic? Come to an arrangement, even if it's only temporary?
We'd all be so busy watching our backs, nothing would get accomplished. Imagine that. We're more productive at war.
Well, have we ever tried sending in someone? Doing to them what they did to us with Lucy? Or Cross?
We have, and it's never worked. We've sent people who were either too weak and found themselves turned, or too strong and were unable to carry out the charade.
I just feel like we all want the same thing.
We use the same words, but that's all they are, words. In the end, it all comes down to freedom. We seek it, they detest it. And so there's never an end to the fight. Not until one side is completely gone.
Is that even possible?
Probably not. Our two groups have existed in one form or another since, well, since forever. But things can be better than they are. And that's something.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
Did you look for me, Dad? When I was gone?
Every day.
Come on.
I mean it. Every night I'd look, searching for your name or variations of it, hoping you'd slip up. Abstergo only found you first because they had better access. A few more days and it would have been me.
Well, I'm here now.
And I'm glad.
Do you think Lucy regretted what she was doing?
I used to think I knew her well, but clearly that wasn't the case. So I really can't give you an honest answer.
She seemed so sincere, though. Like she really wanted to make a difference.
Yes, well, when I first met him, I thought the same thing about Cross.
It just keeps happening over and over again.
What does?
Everything.
Don't get weird on me, Desmond.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry.
All right, then. You should think about getting back in the Animus. We've got to find that key.
You know, though, Desmond's right. The same things do keep happening. It's just patterns.
We should probably get back to Connor.
Alright, well, I gotta go install this battery that we've collected. I think we can do that right up here. No, it's further up. I remember. Kind of went up here and learned a few things before. Now we gotta go find a spot to put the battery. It should open up something new so we can learn some more. Oh no! Desmond. He never learns. Well, I guess he did learn from Ezio, and Ezio just couldn't jump with shit. Sometimes. There we go. This is the spot.
Wonder what's inside.
Only one way to find out.
Resist the urge to run over there and learn things right now, just because we're gonna have to run up there eventually again anyways, and then we'll learn all that same information then. But yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Okay, we can't access the database here. I was gonna see if there was one for Cross.
Good luck, Desmond.
These are troubled times. The already uneasy alliance between the Crown and its subjects frays. And behind them both the Templars plot, pulling strings and moving pieces. History dictates they seek order through control. But how will they affect it here? Who supports them? And what conspiracies have they already spun? All these things I must determine. For only by knowing my enemy can I hope to stop them.
Connor! Spare a moment.
Of course.
Have a look.
What is it?
Xingbao, or rope dart if you prefer. One of the many plans given to us by Xiao Yun to...
Oh, there's all of this stuff.
Sorry.
We'll have to work on this.
Ganondogo.
Yes, my friend.
What brings you here? Is the village all right?
For now.
What do you mean? What has happened?
Men came, claiming we had to leave. They said that the land was being sold, and that the Confederacy had consented. We sent an envoy, but they would not listen.
You must refuse!
We cannot oppose the Sachem, but you're right as well. We cannot give up our home.
Do you have a name? Do you know who is responsible?
He is called William Johnson.
Where is Johnson now?
In Boston, making preparations for the sale.
Sale? This is theft!
Kana, take care. These men are powerful.
What would you have me do? I made a promise to my people.
If you insist upon this course of action, seek out Sam Adams in Boston. He'll be able to help. What have you done?
When my people go to war, a hatchet is buried into a post to signify its start. When the threat is ended, the hatchet is removed.
You could have used a tree.
Nah, we had to put it there. Alright. I think that's a great place to stop for now. We've gotten quite a bit done, and I'm quite excited to get into more stuff, but we are at a point where we're actually going to start be able to do some of the side stuff. I think next time we'll be doing some of these homestead missions right away, and we also have Peg Leg mission. And we saw all of the, I forgot you could do that. All of the armors we can swap to. I won't be doing that, but I do want to look at them quickly. Just because I think they're fun. And it looked like one was missing. I thought maybe I hadn't, like, done something right and I couldn't access them, but, no, yeah, they're right there. I think it's quite funny, honestly, in every Assassin's Creed game, how you can get a bunch of other Assassin's robes from different games. Look at them all. Okay, we're missing this one, right? That one's gone. But, yeah, there's a bunch in here. This one's from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We've got the movie, actually, of all things. Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Rogue. Assassin's Creed 2, or Brotherhood, I suppose, probably for that one. That's Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed... that one's Unity, probably, I think. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then, obviously, I think we have some other outfits in here. We don't have most of them. There's a bunch. And I will actually buy them in this one, because I think they're quite fun. There's a whole bunch. We'll buy them and wear them all around for a while. I do like our base one, and there's Ezio's outfit. We got Altair's outfit, the Prisoner's outfit, Achilles' original outfit, Captain Kidd's outfit. I believe this one's technically in relation to another game in the series as well, because Achilles is in one other game. Yeah, Captain Kidd's outfit, which we can't get yet. The Aquila's uniform, Captain of the Aquila's, sorry. Kenny and Kahaka outfit, which we have to get the feathers to get that back. Traditional colonial assassin. Animal spirit outfit. I believe that's actually from the... That might be used in the DLC. I don't know 100% though. Bayek's outfit. Oh, I don't want to spoil all the characters. But Aguilar, he's from the Assassin's Creed movie, which is kind of a very mid movie in my opinion. It's not that great, but it's still cool. Still pretty neat. I think... Yeah, we'll wait on doing these missions for now. I don't want to do them right this second. And I don't know if we have any other database entries. Yeah, we do. Okay. Xiao Jun. born 1505. Xiao Jun is an assassin from China and one of the last assassins to meet with Ezio Auditore before his death. Jun was born in royal captivity during the Ming Dynasty. She spent her teenage years life as one of the favorite concubines of the Chinese Emperor Zhengde. I have no idea. I totally cannot say that word. Or that name, sorry. While not an ideal lifestyle, though I wouldn't mind it, it's better than digging ditches. Jing's, I have no idea, taste for travel meant that by the age of 15, Jun had seen more of the world than most people of the era, which I suppose you might consider a bright side, if you try not to realize that even some cats had seen more of the world than most people of the era. In 1521, the Assassin Order used the confusion surrounding the Emperor's death to infiltrate the Emperor's compound and free some of the concubines, Jun among them. She immediately became an assassin, but never forgot the women she'd been forced to leave behind. Years later, she returned to the Imperial Palace to free the remaining concubines, only to find that they had been killed by his successor, Jiajing. I have no idea if I said that one right either. The new Emperor's response to the second attack on the Imperial Palace was swift and brutal, and caught the assassins unprepared. The Brotherhood in eastern China was decimated. Xiao Jun and her mentor survived, but were forced to flee Asia entirely. They traveled to Italy to seek the advice of Ezio Auditore, but only Xiao Jun would finish the journey, arriving in Florence in 1524, shortly before Ezio's death. Which, yeah, that's actually in one of the Chronicles games, the Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. She's your main character, I do believe. I've never played it, and I have no intention of playing it for the stream, just because it's sort of a weird 2.5D game. I don't really have much interest in playing it. But there was 3 of those games done, and the other ones were India and Russia, with Russia technically being the most modern setting they've ever done in an Assassin's Creed game, which I think is really neat. There is one other game that technically goes almost to the same time period, and one other game as well that technically has a very brief moment in a later time period, but I don't worry about that particularly too much. It's sort of just semantics at that point. I hope you guys have enjoyed, though. I know it was a little bit shorter of an episode, but we got what I wanted to done, and I don't want to push it considering I got to be in to work tomorrow a little bit earlier than any other day I work in the week, so. With where we are in this game, I really want to keep playing this, to be honest, so we might have our next episode, instead of being either Minecraft or Oblivion, be more of this, but both of those games are not going to be pushed to the wayside. They will come back, don't worry. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. Have a wonderful night / morning / afternoon whenever you're watching this.